Hi, today let's take a look at another comic print ad for Saturday morning previews. This probably ran in Marvel and DC Comics around September or October or even August in 1980. And this is advertising the ABC cartoons that will debut or renew in September or October of 1980 for the new fall season. These were always incredible. I always read through these, and they also had Friday night previews the night before the Saturday morning cartoons debuted for the fall season. Those were always great too. But I always liked reading these in the comic books, and this is for 1980 for ABC. So Happy Days is in full swing, and so they spun it off into a cartoon. And you see the Fonz here saying, "Hey, it's me, the Fonz. Now catch my new show and my new friends every Saturday morning on ABC." Henry Winkler should totally sue for this likeness. It's like, how big is that nose? But yeah, so there was a Fonz cartoon. We'll get to that first. They're advertising Super Friends. This must be the fifth iteration of Super Friends. This features a whole bunch of returning characters. This was a whole bunch of shorts tacked on to what they already had. Super Friends was an hour-long block. So what they would do was they would rerun older cartoons from the past few iterations and pair them up with brand new content so kids would get interested in the new stuff and also revisit the old stuff or watch it new if they hadn't watched it already. Here you see, of course, Wonder Woman, Superman, Batman, Robin. And they had other characters as well that would join in as guest stars. I remember this iteration had the return of the Legion of Doom for one little short. They had the return of the Phantom Zone criminals as well. It was pretty cool stuff. Super Friends. And then after that is Fonz and the Happy Days Gang. So you'd figure a cartoon called Fonz and the Happy Days Gang is going to be Happy Days hijinks in cartoon form. No, they're in a time machine. So it's like Fonzie, Richie Cunningham, and I think Ralph. And the actual actors from the sitcom were the voices here. So Ron Howard and Henry Winkler are giving their voice. So that's one point of interest for this cartoon. They also have this girl from the future who's trying to operate this time machine. She takes them and then she can't get back to 1955. So every episode they're in a new time era, and they're battling like dragons or Dracula or whatever. There's a dog, like Fonzie's dog says, "Hey," like that, and I'm pretty sure it's Frank Welch. Up next is Scooby-Doo and Scrappy-Doo. Scooby and Scrappy-Doo are back in brand new comedy cartoons. So this is paired up with Richie Rich. It says here, Richie Rich, the richest kid in the world with a $100,000 a week allowance. So Hanna-Barbera, I guess, picked up the rights for Richie Rich. They did a very good job of adapting the comic strip. It was basically, Richie Rich and his friends weren't as rich as him, and he had a dog with dollar signs on him, and all these robot arms that did stuff for him with Mickey Mouse gloves at the for hands and everything. I liked Richie Rich a lot. I was never jealous of the character or anything, or felt that he was a snobby character. It's just wish fulfillment, right? Like you see yourself as Richie Rich, being rich and everything and having everything done for you and stuff. There are no weighty, lofty messages or anything. It's just a wish fulfillment thing. The Scooby and Scrappy Doo stuff, it was Scooby Doo, Scrappy, and Shaggy, and it was shorts paired up with Richie Rich. They were fun. They were well done. They were always fighting some sort of ghost or anything. There's no old man Carruthers or anything in a costume. They were actual ghosts, if I recall correctly. This was the long, slippery slide of more Scrappy-centric cartoons, which made people hate Scrappy-Doo. When Scrappy was introduced, the Scooby-Doo show got bolstered in ratings, and then I guess the powers that be felt like more Scrappy, so they got rid of Fred and Thelma and Daphne and all that. And then, made it all about Scrappy, and then they got rid of Scooby and Shaggy at one point, and they were replaced by characters that looked like Shaggy and Scooby, but they were like a sheriff in a small town or something. So dumb. So anyways, that's Scooby-Doo and Richie Rich. And then at the bottom here we have Meet the Mischievous Cat Heathcliff and Dingbat. I don't remember Dingbat at all, but I do remember Heathcliff. Now, Heathcliff, when I was a kid, was on premium channels that you couldn't get on cable, but, on just regular basic cable. But eventually, Heathcliff was everywhere with that incredible theme song. After that is Plastic Man. Everything lists Plastic Man as being one season. I remember Plastic Man being 2 seasons because there were 2 distinct versions of the cartoon. There was a giant 2-hour block. Do you remember this? Plastic Man had 2 hours devoted to him. It was Plastic Man and other zany Ruby Spears cartoons. I can't remember the names of the characters, but there was the one dog that was so ugly he had a doghouse for a head and everything. In this incarnation, he was pared down to a half an hour with baby Plaz and everything like that. So Plastic Man, I remember it being a fun, awesome cartoon. Also, there were a lot of live action segments with a live action Plastic Man that wrapped around it. Those are not on the DVD. What's on the DVD is just Plastic Man cartoons, which is great. But yeah, I really adored this cartoon, and it introduced Plastic Man to a lot of kids. And of course, there's Thundarr the Barbarian. This is the Alex Toth, Jack Kirby, and everybody else collaboration. This ran for 2 seasons. It was awesome. I had a Ookla the Mock Halloween costume. This is an incredible show. It's awesome now. It's on DVD and Blu-ray. Pretty cool stuff. So at the bottom here it says, and don't forget to stay tuned for all new, all different, and exciting escapades on ABC's weekend specials and the music and fun of Dick Clark's American Bandstand. Saturdays best on ABC. Check your local listings for time and channel. So there you have it. I hope you liked going through this with me. And if you like this video, please give a like and please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Till next time, take care.